Hot flashes, irritability, intimate dryness, even unsatisfying sex. Hi, I'm Dr. Alyssa Dweck, a board-certified OBGYN who has spent over 20 years helping women just like you safely find relief from these very natural symptoms without having to resort to hormones. To help my patients feel their best, I recommend products from Bonafide Health. Bonafide is a women's health company dedicated to providing women with non-hormonal and clinically validated products that work. Bonafide provides safe and effective solutions to manage a range of menopausal, sexual health, and PMS-related symptoms. That's why I recommend Bonafide products to my patients every day. In fact, I am also a Bonafide medical advisor. What I like most is that Bonafide products provide women real relief without compromise. Ladies, don't waste another minute feeling less than your best. Go to hellobonafide.com and use code radio39 to save 20%. That's hellobonafide.com and code radio39.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Offer valid on subscription only.
Hey, Cousin Sal here, bringing you an exclusive FanDuel Sportsbook offer for the big game. All new users are getting an exclusive 55-1 odds boost on either team to win the big game. Max bet $5. That means you could turn a $5 bet into $275 if your pick wins. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/Sal.
21 plus and present in New Jersey. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. $10 first deposit required. Max bonus $275. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
After a great start to the Euro 2020 qualifiers, the Republic of Ireland look to continue their 100% home record as they take on Switzerland on Thursday, September 5th at Aviva Stadium. Then on Tuesday, September 10th, we go again at Aviva for the 3 international friendly versus Bulgaria. Kick-off for both games 7:45. Show your support for the boys in green this September. Tickets on sale now starting at €20 from fai.ie/tickets. Booking fee applies.
ChristopherMedia.net.
From Asthma-Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
Welcome to Unregimented number 282. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rich. A guy set himself on fire at the White House. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck indeed. This is, this seems to be just, obviously a mentally disturbed person. Even if they had a quote unquote reason for setting themselves on fire, I don't think it changes the event itself. But because of the proximity of which this person chose to set themselves on fire, it left many to speculate as to what this person's intentions are and if they were politically motivated. I mean, honestly, I can speak from the Twitter side of social media and say people were relatively calm about this and not really talking about it outside of paying respects to a person who, was obviously disturbed in some way and has since died of their injuries also.
Yeah, I mean, this was, I think the reason why, it's the truth. The reason why everyone thinks politically motivated is because of where it happened. It happened in D.C. But, I mean, mentally ill people can be in Washington, D.C. as well.
Yeah.
Insert your joke about Congress there. But
I had first heard it described as in front of the White House, which does make it seem like you would be. I mean, if you know anything about the White House or seen a picture of it, you know that people just don't randomly get in front of the White House.
No.
I mean, but sometimes it's described as being in front of the White House when they're in front of those gates with the guards in front of them. And this was even further than that. This was the park that is in front of the White House. So I don't even know if you could see the White House from where he was standing.
Yeah, and some of the more conservative outlets have reported that it was like, or implied heavily that he did it like on the front lawn of the White House, which is like, how do you, do you make it to the front lawn of the White House before you get shot?
Right.
I mean,
well, and also that would be a better way to go, dude. Like, honestly, like lighting yourself on fire, I have no idea what that would be like. I would think that most people would suffocate before they would actually burn to death, but it'd be a very painful way to suffocate also. Just go charge those gates. Those guys will be happy to gun you down.
And they'll do it with aplomb.
It'll be much quicker.
Well, now this is, I did a little bit more digging, and this is from TMZ. Take that for what you will. They're saying that DC law enforcement has said they believe that the man was high on K2.
Of course.
Which is the AKA the zombie drug. The one that,
the fake weed that makes you go nuts.
Yeah, there was a guy in Florida who ate somebody's face because he said he had smoked K2, and just craziness, bath salts basically, which is another term for it.
But that story never happened.
Well,
that story was complete bullshit. The guy who got the guy.
No, it wasn't. His name was Austin Harrouth. No, it is absolutely not false.
He did not rip the guy's face off.
No. He didn't rip.
He was chewing on it.
On the guy's face. He bit the guy's face.
Bit the guy's face, but he didn't even draw blood.
Still, Aaron, okay, I get it. But, dude, if some guy you don't know runs up to you and bites your face, you're not going to be happy about it, whether or not he draws blood. You're not going to be like, this is cool. Everything's fine.
Dude, and didn't he?
What the fuck?
And didn't he murder 2 people as well? Like, wasn't he gnawing on his face after he killed the guy?
Was this the guy that was out at dinner with his family and they got up and left in the middle of the day? Yeah, I remember Drew talking about it on his podcast, on the Drew and Mike podcast. Something like that. But they turned out here, basically, if you have, much like any drug that fucks with your head, if you have severe mental issues and you take a drug that's going to make you hallucinate or change your perception of reality, there's a chance you're going to have a psychotic break. And it pretty much seems like that's what happened with that guy. That guy wasn't wound too tight in the first place.
But yeah, that's why I love these studies about marijuana and psychosis. They're like, well, we found that marijuana can make a person crazy. Oh, how so? Well, if you already are prone to psychosis, then it could make you even crazier. But it would just basically saying, like, if you're psychotic, it could be a trigger, which, okay, so could losing your job or getting divorced or just nothing at all, or the weather or the neighbor's dog. Anything could be a trigger.
Yeah, just ask Berkowitz. Apparently, the neighbor's dog told him to go on a kill crazy rampage in '77 in New York. So
all I'm saying is, like, the idea that K2 is this zombie drug that turns people into certain way, based on a case of what one person did when they were on this drug who was already mentally unstable. It's no way to judge. And the idea that, right, that TMZ now wants to peddle a story that this guy did it because he was on K2. Again, even if he was on K2, he didn't light himself on fire because he was on K2.
And I can't. I've never done.
He may have been psychotic and lit himself on fire, and smoking K2 would also be a symptom of that same psychotic behavior.
I mean, I've never done K2. I don't know anyone. I believe I don't know anyone who has.
I smoke real weed.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just go get weed. You know, it's like, it's like, oh, I can't find any alcohol. Let me drink, I don't know, gasoline. No.
Or rubbing alcohol like your Kitty Dukakis.
Yeah. That's actually happened. Believe me, I've known some people. They might be in my family tree. But no, I mean, the fact that the dude was on fire and walking around like he was, I don't think he needed K2 to do what he did. Maybe, like you said, it did trigger something. There was something already off about him. Because who the fuck walks around calmly while on fire? You know what I'm saying?
How the fuck would TMZ even know?
According to this,
Harvey's a lawyer. I don't know.
It was 11:35 a.m. A law enforcement source said that the man was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And hold on a sec. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, 85% of his body. They found a suspicious package on fire near the man which was extinguished. And I guess someone in law enforcement maybe said they think it's K2. So TMZ's just running with it. I don't know.
We found a baggie with a mustache on it. What is this? A suspicious package?
Yeah.
TMZ reports these things because I'm sure somebody did talk to one of the police officers and they say shit off the cuff and that gets reported as fact. I doubt there's anything in the investigation about this suspicious package.
Well, too, I mean, law enforcement, what was the term they used, Rich? Like a law enforcement official? I mean, that could be like the administrative professional at the police station.
Well, TMZ takes a lot of its reporting from paparazzi. So all it could have been was a guy who whipped his cell phone out, started recording, asked the cop, "Hey, why do you think he did it?" And he's like, "Man, I don't know. He must be on K2 or some shit." Okay, that's a law enforcement source to me.
Right.
Call up TMZ and boom.
That's exactly how it goes.
So like I said, take it with a grain of bath salts. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you did there.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, look, from a person who, if I drop a cigarette and I burn myself, I go, shit, God damn it. Anyone who walks around fully on fire, calm, they're not right in the fucking head. I think I'm safe in saying that. I mean, I think I can make that go, at least go out on anyone who lights themselves on fire, period, is something's going on there. And yes, I realize that there was a monk who lit himself on fire to protest the Vietnam War. Just because you're a monk doesn't mean you don't have mental issues.
But unless you're Chris Angel or fucking one of these other idiots, and you're setting yourself on fire, you got something going on upstairs. If you're not trying to pull any illusion over on us.
Were people trying to make a lot of political hay out of this on Facebook?
Oh, well, yeah. It was, the ones who said who were sharing articles saying that he did it on the front lawn of the White House. It's because it's Trump derangement syndrome. He hated Trump. This was in protest of the Trump White House. And then, other people were like, wait a minute, this didn't happen on the front lawn of the White House. What are you talking about? And then, of course, they were quickly shouted down as fake news. And the usual, back and forth went. And that's when I was just like, okay, I gotta disengage from this because I'm not going to find the truth in any of that. And that's when I started looking, and I just wanted cold, hard facts. And the cold, hard facts that, as of right now, taking TMZ out of the situation, the man is from Bethesda, Maryland. He's 33 years old. His name's, oh shit, I forgot. His last name's Gupta.
Right.
Arnav Gupta, 33, from Bethesda, Maryland. He'd been reported missing, and the people who reported him missing said they were worried about his mental health. Those are the facts we know and he died in the hospital. Those are the facts we know at this moment right now. Those are facts. That's not opinion. That's not speculation. That's not TMZ reporting. So, anything else is wild and reckless speculation and people trying to apply their political outlook to a situation that might not even be political.
Well, yeah, they're just spouting it because their opinion is from their fixed point of view. They're not willing to be swayed. They're just looking for how does whatever is going on in the news tie directly to where my fixed point is.
No,
so I'm sure I'm sure they blamed this guy's death on feminism, and this is a perfect example of why socialism doesn't work.
Well, I mean, looking at the map of where he did it, I will say the news is saying he set himself on fire near the White House. Well, if you really look at the map, he set himself on fire. The closest building of note that he set himself on fire to is the Smithsonian. So maybe he's protesting the Smithsonian. I mean, if we're going to run wild with speculation, let's just fucking go wild with it and say that he's pissed off. Yeah. He's like, wait a minute, Pulp Fiction isn't in the Smithsonian? Fuck that. I'm burning myself up right now. And you better put Jackie Brown in there too.
I mean, if you're going to just speculate on his behavior, how about start with the most obvious one then? Man who obviously hates himself set himself on fire.
Man who thought he was a Targaryen found out he wasn't. Yeah, sorry, bud. That's a TV show. That's not reality. It is funny. You nailed it in the pre-show chat when we were talking about it. It's the story itself is just. I mean, it's such a strange and weird story because, I mean, that is a very dedicated way to go out about taking yourself out. Let's be honest. I mean, bullet to the head, suicide by cop, jumping off a building, hanging yourself, pills, whatever.
He wanted to do it in the way that would get the most attention, obviously.
Exactly. That is like, look at me, literally. But yeah, so take away, once you get the facts that we have about, the situation, the more interesting part is people's reactions and assumptions that they interject in there.
Well, look, even when people come out with statements, written, prepared statements, the reaction to it is still wildly different. They hear completely different things. So, setting yourself on fire, that's about as vague as you get, especially without some announcement of intent. So you're just free to wildly speculate. But, I mean, you saw the Mueller announcement this week. I think he spoke pretty plainly, and yet everyone seems to have a different opinion of what it was he was actually saying.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed about that. Like you read three different stories, you're getting three different takes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought my yesterday.
Sorry.
I chuckled to myself yesterday because I read this editorial from CNN. Like, it's not about what he said; it's about what he didn't say. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, it's a legal investigation. It's kind of about what you say.
Yeah. My take on his statement is that the main point that I think he wanted everyone to focus on was the idea that his real work is in the report itself, not in this statement. The statement's not going to go anywhere beyond the work itself in the Mueller report. And if he's asked to testify publicly or privately to Congress, he's not going to say anything more than what is in the report or what is in his statement there today, at that day.
Because he's a lawyer, and it sounds like he's a good lawyer if that's how he's setting himself up.
Right.
Because he's not going to open himself to getting attacked. To be like, it's right there, read it.
But secondarily, though, he did seem to want to clarify why there was no charges brought. And he was very clear about that with the idea of it. Not only can't they charge a sitting president, he said that it would be unfair to charge anyone in a case where you couldn't have some kind of legal means of resolving that. Meaning, if you can't take that president before a court, before a jury of his peers, and try him like any other citizen based on the charges presented, then it's unfair to charge somebody, right? A charge then is just a smear.
Yeah, if you can't go forth and prosecute it, what's the point?
Right. So it would be unconstitutional, not only to the idea that you could charge a sitting president, but unconstitutional to due process.
So I'm sure now, to the extreme people on the left, he's gone from the hero to he's a demon, and all he's doing is doing what he was supposed to do.
Well, because impeachment wasn't part of his charge, it's not his decision to make, and was never going to be included in the Mueller report. He doesn't say it in his statement, although he does say that by illustrating that there is no process for his office to charge a president, there is a process to hold a president accountable, and that's the process that should be used if that's what people intend to do. And that process is impeachment.
And if we're putting it in Congress' hands, good luck.
Right. But what he's but what he's saying, at least what I read, was that he was just illustrating that there was a process for that, and that wasn't under his purview. And everyone's like, well, what he's saying to us is that he thinks that we should impeach him based on his evidence. No.
Yeah,
he's not saying that. He's saying, I can't say whether to impeach him. He's not saying, I can't say whether or not to impeach him. Wink, wink.
No, because that would be unethical.
I'm not going to say the I word. No, he's not. He's very clear in his choice of language, and I don't understand where people are reading subtext from a man who is, his whole statement was basically, there is no subtext. There's never going to be subtext. It's on paper, and if you ask me in person, I will try to reiterate as best as I can remember what was in the report. There is zero subtext to read into.
If I could sum up his press conference yesterday, it's like, this is what I found. Sorry. I know we were expecting more, but here's what I found.
Yeah.
The end.
I mean, I was thankful that he came out because maybe it helps some people actually get their head around what's inside the report and go from there and stop trying to, to hope that, because the whole reason that he did this really was because he was kind of backed into a corner. He was likely to be subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress, something that he did not want to do. And this was a way to prevent that.
And what I think is hilarious is there are people today, a day after it happened, still calling for him to testify in front of Congress.
Right. Because, he knows what's going to happen if he testifies in front of Congress. His words will be twisted. If it's on video, it'll be edited out of context. People will take whatever they want from it, and it'll be his actions doing that. And he has nothing to gain from testifying personally. And I don't think that the case for impeachment has anything to gain from him testifying, because all him testifying is saying, we don't really understand what's in the report. Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, it's going to come. All the information is going to come from the same report. The investigation that has been closed for 2 months now.
But then he's going to be asked questions that go, looking for information that goes beyond the report, at which point he won't be able to answer. He will decline to answer, and that will be taken as an answer in and of itself. The fact that it's like it's like if you ask somebody, did you let the dog out? The answer is yes, I say yes. If the answer is no, I plead the fifth. Well, we know what I plead the fifth means. It means you're guilty because you don't want to incriminate yourself. And it's kind of the same thing. By refusing to answer certain questions that when asked for stuff that goes beyond what's in the report, he's not going to answer it. He said he's not going to answer, but by publicly on record saying, I'm not going to answer that question, or seeming like you're dodging it for some reason, or being evasive, that will be taken as an answer in and of itself. And just him personally testifying it will color the work that is in the report. And I think that's what he's trying to avoid.
Man, he wants to go back to the private sector. That's why he had his press conference. Here we go. I'm done. Peace out. He should have said deuces right at the end. He said one love.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he landed a plane while everybody else in that plane seemed to go crazy. Yeah. And he kept his head, he kept his cool, and now he wants to go home and pour himself a whiskey.
Yeah. He's like, and let's never speak of Donald Trump again.
And we should let him.
Yeah, he did his job.
Stop saying he's sexy. Okay. Comey, I get it, because you go wet over anybody over 6'4", but come on, Mueller's not your hero. He's just a guy doing his job, and I hope he's paid well for it. I hope his wife sucks his dick, or whatever he's into.
And I'm sure the country will move on, and we'll never speak of it again. No, if we put this in Congress hands, good luck, because the House is Democrat, the Senate's Republican, the Senate outranks the House. Have fun.
Did you see Trump's response to it? He tweets out, I had nothing to do with Russia helping me get elected, and then deletes it a few hours later when I'm sure somebody points out to him that it says here in your tweet that Russia helped you get elected. And he's like, I didn't say that. And then he deletes the tweet and then has a press conference where he tells journalists that Russia had nothing to do with him getting elected, that they didn't interfere in the election on his behalf.
He just doesn't give a fuck. Huh?
We can screen cap this shit. Like everyone's got a phone that can do this now.
He just
gives your tweets out there.
He gives no fucks, man. He just gives. If you admire one thing about the guy, he's got balls, huge balls. Because he'll straight up and just he'll lie to you.
Yeah, but that's the question, isn't it? That's what. Again, before we were recording, we were talking about somebody who seems to act like a complete oblivious idiot and describing him as having balls. But the question is, do they have balls or are they just completely oblivious?
I think with Trump, it goes back to his how he does business. If you just tell people, if you tell people something and you say it with enough conviction, they'll believe it. And I think that's more of he's coming from the businessman point of view, like, you know, or to put it in terms we've used before on the podcast. In the sports world, it's like if the team's on a horrible losing streak and they were expected to make a run at a championship, the general manager comes out and goes, no, the head coach's job is perfectly safe. Everything's fine. That means that head coach is going to get fired sometime soon.
Yeah, means 2 days from now we're introducing the new coach.
I'm sure this is one of those lies that everybody rolls their eyes at, and the Trump supporters, it just doesn't matter. Oh, that's just Trump. He's just being Trump. We all know. Look, Russia helped him. Good. Fuck it. You know, like if it was Africa that helped get Trump elected, I think they might have an issue with it. But you know, Russia. That's full of white people. Can't be that bad.
I just think we have found proof they interfered in the election. I don't know what more it takes for these people to get it through their skulls. Russia interfered in our election. They didn't do it directly. They did it indirectly, but they still interfered.
And that's just completely lost. People act like they don't care.
Right. I mean, what do you see on your social media, Rich? Do people just kind of gloss over that fact now? Are they still clinging to the idea that they didn't interfere? Or does it just not matter?
If they're Trump supporters, they seem to spin it this way. Trump did not collude with Russia to get into the White House.
Right. If Russia wanted him in the White House, that's not Trump's issue.
Yes. He didn't ask for help. He didn't back channel ask for help. There's no proof of that. So drop it. And to be fair, the more liberal people, it's like they kind of, gloss over it too. And they're like, well, just because there's no legal proof doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I'm going, wait a minute. The bigger issue is Russia is fucking with our elections. Why is no one addressing this? Yeah. And if they do, they get lost and shouted down. Like, and not shouted down as in shut up, we don't want to talk about that. You get shouted down like trying to like tap people on the shoulder who are arguing about their seats in a theater that's on fire. You're trying to tell them, this place is on fire, we need to get out. Fuck your seats. And they're going, shut up, we're arguing here. Go away. You're treated like a child who's trying to, interrupt two adults having a conversation.
Yep. Proving that if Russia or any other country wants to invest a rather small amount of money, they can stir the American pot up so hard that we'll just churn ourselves into a fury all by ourselves. Like, all you have to do is get it started.
Yeah.
And there's going to be almost zero consequences for it. So China, North Korea, Iran, fuck it, anybody, any country that's online, that's all it fucking takes. A small investment in money and people, and you can get us all worked up into a lather and so busy fighting each other that even if we do find out it was you, it won't even matter anymore.
Yeah, I said it 2 years ago. They didn't hack our election. They hacked us.
Yes.
They figured out.
Hack. They did some actual hacking, but that probably didn't do the most damage ultimately.
They figured out
it was spreading stories not even about politics, it's spreading stories about anti-vaxxers, spreading stories about immigration. I mean, things that are
we are stupid and easily misled.
Mm-hmm. Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? Well, Dublin, with Virgin Media you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
Sometimes you've just got to get some quality me time. Like right now, when you get away for a few hours to Kildare Village, because we've got hundreds of new arrivals, including new boutiques like Sandro and Maj. Escape to Kildare Village and get front row ready for a new season with a new look and a new smile on your face. A little me time goes a long way at Kildare Village, where there's something extraordinary every day.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
And I do have to say that the lunatic fringe on the left, the lunatic fringe on the right, anything they don't like, they automatically shout down as fake news so they can dismiss it out of hand. Any opinion that the lunatic fringe on the left doesn't like, they go, oh, that's a Russian bot. And it's like, okay, stop. No, it's not. There's people out there who disagree with you who are actual human beings that are flesh and blood. There are people who disagree with you. And by going, everybody who disagrees with me or a Russian bot, you're actually making the situation worse. It's like calling someone crazy. You're dismissing them. And by dismissing them, you're acting like, well, wait a minute. What could we do something? Is there a chance we could have to talk to this person? Is there a dialogue to be had? If there's not, okay, fucking throw your hands up and quit. I understand that. There's a certain point you can't have a rational conversation with a person. I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Flat earthers are one of them. If they are just if they say these words, you will never convince me the earth is not flat. They have to do the work themselves. You can't do it for them. So if you go, I'm washing my hands in a situation, that's fine. But to just automatically go, anytime someone posts something I don't like, troll, Russian bot, fake news, really?
It's to shut down all dialogue.
And by the way, a troll is not someone who posts an opinion that you don't agree with.
Oh, no.
No, a troll is a person who posts an opinion that they don't.
Yeah,
the person posting doesn't agree with.
It's a shit starter.
Yes, they stir the pot and they make you lick the spoon. That's what a troll does. A troll posts shit to get you worked up. They post shit that, like you said, Aaron, they may or may not agree with. They just post whatever they think is going to get a rise out of you. Someone who has a genuine opinion. If you go to someone's Facebook page or social media page and it's covered with pro-Trump, pro-Jesus shit, and they post an opinion that you don't agree with, it does not make them a troll. That just means that you have a difference of opinion.
I'll accept that definition, but classically, a troll is specifically posting an opinion that they do not agree with in order to inflame.
Yeah, shit stir, just cause they're bored.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, 4chan, any of the Chan sites are full of trolls, and they just literally have bored people that get together and go, what site should we fuck with today? And they'll spend an hour or two coming up with an idea. Okay, let's go into this site. I remember like 10, maybe 12 years ago, they invaded the MTV chat boards, and they were like, let's go in there and fuck with people and start using the word niggardly, which if you look up the definition of the word, it means a cheap person. It has nothing to do with race. But because it's so close to that oh so special other N word, it worked up the entire MTV chat boards to the point where MTV shut down their chat boards for a day or two. And that's exactly what and then they went back, they screenshotted all that shit, went back to 4chan and laughed their asses off about it. That's exactly what that's being trolled. And it happens all the time, and people don't recognize it because they see trolls. I don't agree with your opinion. You're a troll. So they don't even know what a real troll is, which I guess is the worst danger, because that's how true fake bullshit gets spread around. You know, just like 4chan's new thing is to turn the hashtag into a white power symbol, which I think is hilarious because everyone uses hashtags on Twitter.
That is hilarious.
I saw that today.
I mean, it's like...
It's so dumb, though.
But here's the thing. Legit news sources jumped on it and then had to...
Exactly.
And then had to walk it back because they were like, oh, okay, we got. And it's like, I'm surprised they admit that they got had, because no one ever
realized they got the OK symbol.
Yeah, I know. But no one likes to... Online, no one admits they're wrong ever.
Hey, they came for our OK symbol, and I said nothing because I'm not a douchebag who uses the OK symbol. But then they came for the hashtag, and I said enough.
Yeah.
I use
enough.
hashtag sometimes.
Hashtag enough.
But right, they have this ridiculous illustration too. I thought it was something from The Onion because it shows like two H's supposedly standing for Heil Hitler forming into one H that then elongates into two H's again and then somehow ends up as a hashtag. Like, it makes no sense. They have this like 5-step process from getting two H's into a hashtag shape that makes absolutely zero sense.
And that's the essence of the Chan site's trolling. It's just absurdity. Like, one of their most infamous ones was it was like a Second Life type Hobo Hotel. That's what it was called. Where you could create a digital avatar and, you know.
You mean HH?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, but this goes back like 10 years. And you create a digital avatar.
How deep does this go?
I know, it's the deep state. Oh shit! Where are the Koch brothers?
All connected.
Yeah, and but yeah, so 4chan got together and they're like, let's go fucking troll these people. So they created like a bunch of them, like I don't know, like 50, 60 guys, all created avatars that looked the same. A black guy in a suit with an afro, and they went to the public pool in this virtual world. And they formed a line around it, and then they all started, having their characters say, "Pool is closed due to AIDS." And people lost their fucking minds. And I mean, none of that has anything to do with anything, just besides someone threw out like, so what are we going to make our avatars look like? Let's give him a black guy with an afro. All right, let's put him in a suit. Okay, now why are we going to say the pool's closed? AIDS. All right, let's do it. It was that random. And so, of course, eventually it got out that it was a troll. And here come the internet sociologists are like, there must be deeper meaning to this.
Wait a minute. Got out that it was a troll, as if there's an explanation where this just so happened that a bunch of guys in afros showed up. I don't know.
That is quite the premise.
I'll take that as trolling, but it seems much more like the type of performance art that like flash mobs.
Well, I do know the reason they chose a black guy is because I think it was like 95% of the avatars on that site were represented as white.
Yeah.
And so they were like,
right.
It was, so it's all just subversion and absurdity mixed together for their own amusement. It's really what it is. I mean, and it's a little bit more, I'll admit it's a little bit more sinister with the the OK sign, the hashtag sign and shit. There's deeper, yes, there is deeper meaning behind that. That is like fucking with people who have knee-jerk reactions to shit. But that's fucking with people who don't like to think. Like I describe Nickelback as music for people who don't like music. Getting offended by nonsense like an OK symbol or a hashtag because you read somewhere that those are white power symbols is thinking for people who don't like to think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, stop. Really think about this.
Yeah.
I
saw a few out there trying to troll people with, you support so-and-so. They use the hashtag still, didn't you? And then they throw the infographic up showing the transformation of the HH to the hashtag. But then you look at their account, and it's just some random picture, and they have 7 followers that are probably their friends that also created dummy accounts to troll people with it. They can't even do it with their own accounts.
Oh no, yeah. That's trolling 101. You got to make your account disposable in case you get too deep. You don't want to be banned because then you can't go back and look at the fun. So you keep your real account safe. Yeah. That's half the fun is going back and looking at the shit that you stirred. Not that I've ever trolled or anything, but I mean, I'm just saying, I have a lot of friends in the computer industry and IT, and they might have had a little something to do with, a trolling incident here or there back in the day. Yeah. But, hey, we were young, we were in our early 20s, and we were bored, so it seemed like the thing to do. Excuse me. But yeah, it's I just can't get over it. Like, when I saw the first legit news source with someone posting an article about the hashtag thing, I was like, no, please don't, because that for every idiot who sees it, 1 out of 10, and I'm being very generous with that, is going to actually dig more into it. The rest, most people don't even read articles. They just read the fucking headline and go off that. I mean, seriously, I can't count how many comment sections I go into where the biggest comment after it, no matter what the subject is, it devolves into lock her up, impeach him. The next biggest comment is, did you even read the article? And if people were forced to answer that question, I guarantee you it'd be a deafening chorus of no.
Well, right. But people read the headline and then they ask a question in the comments about something based off that headline. And then the immediate reply is, that's in the first paragraph.
Yes.
Why you think this is a conversation? It's a headline. You want to know more, you read more. You don't look at your newspaper and go, but why? But why did the man set himself on fire? It won't answer me. Alexa, make the newspaper talk to me.
Tigers lose to Royals 4-3. How did that happen? I don't know. There's a box score in an article. Did you read that? No. I just expected to just divine that from the headline.
Well, you know what?
Okay, well, devoid of that, I know when the ball goes certain places and people are allowed to run certain areas, that scores are made. So I'm assuming that happened more times for the one team than it did the other.
See, even a non-sports fan can can extrapolate how the Tigers lost.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, though, I think we may be having a get off my lawn conversation because this might be a generational thing. Like we're still from the generation that was taught to read things and check your sources and provide references. And Aaron, how often do we talk about it when we read articles online? No proofreading, grammar shitty.
Well, this is another thing that we have Facebook to thank for. They were going to be the news collator for the entire world, and they failed miserably on doing that, and really just succeeded in helping to shut down more newspapers and reduce the amount of actual investigative reporting that was being done by reliable sources. And now we have a system that doesn't rely on reliable sources. There is no situation where we can have a deep throat for Trump, because that deep throat will be believed by one side and not be believed by the other, no matter what. we basically decide what's true or not on consensus. What do most people think? Not what does an expert in that field think. What does somebody who's maybe has some experience with politics or whatnot, and has an actual opinion on this? Maybe we should listen to them. It's what do my followers think?
Yeah,
that's more important.
It's the mob mentality.
Yeah, I'm going to go with whatever one doesn't get me shouted down when I spout that opinion on social media.
To which I would tell that person, pussy, have some balls, stand up for yourself. Stand up for your opinion. You might get some debating skills if you have a different opinion in a room full of people with the same opinion.
So they broke ground on I don't even know if that qualifies as breaking ground, but they tried to break ground on the GoFundMe wall this week.
Yes. The quarter-mile wall, their 3/4-mile wall that will solve everything.
Yeah. Let's start with that. They raised nowhere near enough money to build a wall that's going to be nowhere near long enough to be effective in any way, and then did nowhere near the amount of work that it would take to build said wall, mainly getting permission from the government.
Yeah, because I bet
you have to do to build anything. If I was to build a wall around my, garage in the backyard, the government would have to come and say yes or no.
I had to get a permit from the city to replace my fucking windows. And yeah, you're just going to build a wall. Like, it's talking the pre-show chat. There's the city government you're going to have to go through, the county government, the state government, and then the federal government. I bet you the permits alone from all those governments would have eaten up all the GoFundMe money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they were offered a cease and desist order by the government. Stop breaking that ground, you idiots. You don't even own it yet.
And this is the GoFundMe wall that they raised like a little bit over $1 million against the $5 million they said was their. Or what? Didn't they say $1 billion was their goal?
Well, Trump wanted $5 billion back in January.
No, I know, but the GoFundMe
is the privately funded one.
Yes.
Yeah, because these people are like, well, if the government can do it for $5 billion, we can do it for $5 million. No, the fuck you can't.
You can't.
I'll allow for some government waste, but that's going a bit too far.
It's a little excessive there. You know what I'm saying? Good times.
What else?
The doctored video. We're talking about that. We probably should have segued out of that into that from our talk about Facebook. But
I did think that's where we were going. But hey, you never know. It's called unregimented.
So yeah, the White House shares. I don't know if they themselves doctored it, but they definitely shared it on their social media. A video of Nancy Pelosi that they slowed down to make it seem like she was drunk and slurring her words.
Keep in mind, didn't Donald Trump share it with the Joe Biden meme from his account a couple months ago, where it had Biden coming up behind people?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is some sort of new low for the White House or this is just business as usual, but they are actively spreading disinformation.
The defense I've heard of Facebook leaving the video up is a couple different things. One is it's so obvious that it's a slowed down version of a actual video that you'd have to be stupid to believe that she's actually drunk, which is kind of passive aggressive. A passive aggressive shot at the people who are sharing it, going, "See, she's drunk." And then the other one is Facebook does allow edited videos of other sorts. So
all the time, people are slowing shit down constantly. So they're going to take every slowed down video.
Yeah, and they're saying that this is obvious satire. So it doesn't really violate their terms of service.
I'm with them on that because the only answer to trolling is that people get smarter, right? I mean, we have laws to protect people in general from crime and from having your stuff stolen. But if a guy comes up to you and manages just through talking to you to convince you, trust him enough to hand over all your money, and then he doesn't come back, the police can't do anything. You willingly gave that guy your money. because you believed his story. And the only way to stop that type of crime from happening is to just be smarter. And, again, I don't know if this is people that are Trump supporters that are believing that Nancy Pelosi held a press conference while she was intoxicated, if they honestly think that, or if they're just along for the ride.
News. That would have been national news for a long time if she did that.
Yes.
That would have survived in the news cycle for at least a week. That is a federal official, being publicly inebriated at their job.
Rich, I beseech you again, since you have more contact with that side of social media than I do. Do you see people arguing about whether or not she was drunk or whether or not the video was doctored?
No, I just see people posting that as if funny. She's drunk.
Right. They want to make fun of her. It's a dig at her, and they're in for it. But they're not honestly believing, oh, no, there's drunk.
There's a handful that do.
There's people that are actually saying that.
Yes, I might be related to a few of them.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And this is the reason I don't have much contact with that side of the family. I get a call when someone dies, and that's about it. Because then they're like, so have you thought about Jesus lately? No. And thank you for calling me and letting me know he died.
Have you thought about facts?
So... but no, for the most part, it's very much like if someone posts it, it's, obviously, hey, look, she's drunk. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah.
Tongue in cheek. Isn't this kind of amusing type shit? But once again, the true believers are the people that are unshakable in their belief, and there's nothing you can do. So it's up to them. And really, we all know someone we've all known someone like this in our lives. Someone who wants something to be true so bad that they act as if, even though all facts fly in the face of their belief. And I'm not even talking about religion. I'm talking about just, it could be any subject, and these are those type of people. And I don't even engage. And most people, I'm glad to see, don't engage with them either, because there's just no point.
So there was a call from Nancy Pelosi and others for Facebook to remove the video because it was doctored. But doesn't that beg the question, what differentiates this video from any of the thousands of edited Trump videos that you can find out there? Trump rapping, Trump singing, Trump saying dumb shit. These are obvious edits again, but where's the line?
Can we talk about the crazy dots she was trying to connect? That I believe I read yesterday that she says Facebook's refusal to take this video down shows that Zuckerberg was Facebook was complicit in the Russian hacking of the election.
I think I have her actual quote here. We have said all along for Facebook they were unwittingly exploited by the Russians. I think wittingly, because right now they are putting up something that they know is false. I think it's wrong. I can take it, but Facebook is lying to the public. I think they have proven by not taking down something they know is false that they were willing enablers of the Russian interference in our election.
Has she ever been on Facebook? If they're going to take down everything that's false, you might as well just shut up shop if you're Mark Zuckerberg.
See, where I've been accused of being a reductionist. She is just adding way too many steps to this. She is going in the opposite direction. Stop trying to make it more complicated than it is. To me, this is the situation. It's the pie in the face routine. It stops being funny when it starts being you. She got her pie in the face. She's upset. And it's like, just like you said, Aaron, how many Trump videos we've shared some in the group chat, in the private chat. We all know they're doctored or they're altered or whatever the fuck. We know that's not what he said. We know Trump couldn't rap if his life depended on it. And if he did, it'd sound like the most herky-jerky, early, 80s white boy rap ever.
Are you telling me he didn't cover Once in a Lifetime, Rich?
If she was currently... if she was currently running for office, it would not affect her votes one bit, right? Anyone who believed that video or wanted to believe that video was not going to vote for her anyway.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
It's not some doctored video that was subversive in some way. It was satire, no different than any of the number of things that are out there against Trump and Pelosi herself too, and any politician really.
The
fact that the White House is sharing this shit, I think, is reprehensible. But what are you going to do? That's the White House you have right now.
There's never been a little bit of petty that Trump has walked past in my memory.
Well, so. I mean, at least there was a perception that like Trump is Trump and he's going to say stuff on his social media, and the White House hasn't always backed him up on everything. But it seems more now that the White House, as an organization, is willing to go as low as Trump does on his own social media feed.
Because he told him to post it. Who knows?
And I mean,
maybe Donnie got the password for 5 minutes and somebody realized, shit, he has it. Change it.
Boehner said this, I believe, this week. I'm paraphrasing, but he said there is no more Republican Party. It's the party of Trump now. There's a Trump party. And so maybe that's true. Maybe the White House is just like, hey, whatever he says goes, because he's the goose that's laying the golden egg at the moment. So let's ride his coattails as far as we can. So if he says to post it, fucking post it. We can always claim it was a joke. We all know an asshole like that, a guy who says like the most horrible shit he can think of to say to somebody, and then when they get offended, he goes, "Oh, well, I'm joking." That's Trump, basically.
Yeah, the guy nobody invites to everything.
But even though I do agree with Pelosi more so than I don't, I gotta say this just it makes her look like, look, you were the butt of a joke. Take the hit. Move on. In fact, if she'd have laughed it off and been like, "Oh, yes, of course I was drunk. Don't you know I'm drunk right now?" And, kind of leaned into it and been like, "This is so ridiculous. Come on now."
Yeah. Best advice for Pelosi is probably to, at her next press conference, pull out a bottle of Wild Turkey and pour herself a drink. And everyone would laugh and then they'd move on.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, this is once again, you can't play Trump's game. You can't let him dictate the rules of the game you're playing.
Yeah. And she's been fairly good at not taking that bait.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
and I think if this came from Trump's social media feed, she wouldn't have taken that bait. She probably would have shrugged it off. But because it was put out there by the White House and Facebook refused to remove it, I mean, I don't see what she thinks her winning strategy is. I mean, unless she's actually thinking that going after Facebook is going to help her cause in some way, which it may, and this was just another excuse to do that.
It makes her look good to the quote-unquote resistance.
But it seems unusually reactionary for her, this person who is usually very calm-headed.
And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like it's her claiming some sort of outrage is, like Chris, like you said, it's playing to the woke crowd. Like, how dare you say this about me? And it's like...
But okay. I think to most people it comes off as she can't handle it. She can't stand the heat. Right?
Exactly.
This is the type of criticism that comes with having high office. I'll give you that it shouldn't be coming from the White House. And I think that's where if you want to talk about this, if you want to make an issue out of it, that's where you should stick to. But trying to rail against the spreading of misinformation, I mean, first of all, is a lost cause. And when you only do it selectively to things that directly affect you and make you look bad, it makes you look egotistical and self-driven.
And very thin-skinned. And
so I hope she drops this immediately.
I mean, because think about it. I was thinking about this.
Stop talking about doctor videos and start talking about impeachment more, in my opinion.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
Sometimes you've just got to get some quality me time. Like right now, when you get away for a few hours to Kildare Village, because we've got hundreds of new arrivals, including new boutiques like Sandro and Maj. Escape to Kildare Village and get front row ready for a new season with a new look and a new smile on your face. A little me time goes a long way at Kildare Village, where there's something extraordinary every day.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
Sometimes you've just got to get some quality me time. Like right now, when you get away for a few hours to Kildare Village, because we've got hundreds of new arrivals, including new boutiques like Sandro and Maj. Escape to Kildare Village and get front row ready for a new season with a new look and a new smile on your face. A little me time goes a long way at Kildare Village, where there's something extraordinary every day.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
How many Biden memes have there been in the last couple of years? And I mean, coming from the left, you know, like people on the left love to throw Biden in memes. And he's never like, okay, I called this press conference today to say that, you know, I'm upset that these memes of me are on Facebook.
Right.
One, I have to say, I was never on Game of Thrones. I never stood up and gave a mealy-mouthed reason why I should be president. And Sansa Stark never told me to sit down, Uncle Joe.
Creepy Uncle Joe's at it. He's still at large, even after apologizing for his behavior. He was this week, he told a 10-year-old girl she's good looking and touched her shoulders.
So what? How about that? How about that response? So what? He touched her shoulders. Big deal. He didn't grab her tits. He didn't finger her. All right, he didn't kiss her. He touched her fucking shoulders.
Yeah, but if he'd have made Thriller, she could have played with her booty hole and got away with it. So
yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's.
Hey,
look,
what happened? What happened? This good looking is not a good choice of term for a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Any minor, you shouldn't be saying that they are good looking. That implies some sort of intent. Like, somebody who's good looking is somebody that I would probably want to have sex with. You could say you're cute, you're adorable, you're a pretty little girl, whatever, but good looking?
Yes.
That's a poor choice of words, but come on.
I mean, yes, Aubrey Plaza is good looking. A 10-year-old is, oh, look how cute.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's I'm absolutely with you on that. But it's, once again, and I know that it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I mean, there is such a large Grand Canyon divide between his generation, you know, millennials and Gen Z. He might not even understand that's how he's coming off to those type people. Because, I mean, it's just like the word gay. My grandfather used to use the word gay, and he never meant a homosexual person. I mean, we explained to him, we're like, Grandpa, that word's kind of been retconned to mean something else.
Yeah. Used to mean happy. No longer does.
I understand when you watch the Flintstones and they say having a gay old time. Having a gay old time means something different now, Grandpa.
Yeah. Now it means Fred is cornholing Barney.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm pretty sure you don't want nothing to do with that type of time. So,
but here's the actual quote from Biden. He says, "I'll bet you're as bright as you are good looking." I mean, in that context, there's no way. Like, good looking is completely innocuous. But I don't know.
Let me ask this question. Let's just speculate.
But don't you have
for
a filter? Like, you know what people are saying about you, right?
Let me ask you a question. Let's speculate for a sec. Do you think that there's going to be a Howard Dean type moment for him where he's going to say something and it's going to be able to be twisted so much that it's going to basically take all the air out of his run for president?
Maybe.
Or
he pinches some little girl's cheek so hard she cries and then he screams.
He goes, "Oh, you're so cute you're so good looking when you cry." I'm like, wait, what? Oh, he's into some sick shit. Look what he's into. Get him out of here. No, I mean, seriously, or are we just so far past it to where basically if you shrug it off, a la Trump, nothing will stick to you? Because I guess that's what I was getting at with the Joe Biden memes. Biden just seems to be like, I'm not even going to address this shit, and just shrugs it off. And so, because he does that, he almost, it's like he puts on his Teflon suit. But I mean, do you think that it's still possible he could do something or say something that could just be like, oh, okay, there's no way we can really defend this, so we just kind of got to let you go, Uncle Joe, sorry. Kind of hitch our wagon to somebody else, buddy.
I mean, I don't know. Because
would
we believe that he had we'd have to believe some sort of evil intent in him, right? And that's part of the ridiculousness of this ongoing issue with him, is that I don't think nobody believes that he's honestly creepy. He just kind of acts creepy.
I don't think anyone who would be a Howard Dean supporter believes he's honestly creepy. I do know. I've even heard some women who are very left leaning say that they don't like him because they feel that he's part of the old guard. Hey sweetheart, smack you on the butt. Go make me a sandwich. They feel that he's that way behind the scenes because he's been painted that way by the right. And it's like, okay, so what do you do with that?
Well, I mean, that seems a rather specific issue. I would in general support the idea that he's just old. And I'm not going to not vote for Biden because of that. But if I had my choice, if I'm ranking the Democratic candidates, he's going to be near the bottom of the list because been there, done that.
Well, yeah, and I also remember an article you shared, and you're like, "Well, fuck him." And I was like, "Oh yeah, he's an asshole." His stance on marijuana.
Yeah.
Well, it's very archaic in today's day and age. That was
there's his past record on marijuana, which on drugs in general, which he has said that he regrets being so harsh on drug crimes. But
you mean now that he has a kid who's a crackhead? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of like, I'm sure that John McCain wasn't a big fan of lesbians until his daughter said, "Hey, guess what?
Right.
There's a reason I have a bunch of Indigo Girl CDs, Dad."
And I think that's commendable because that is how people change. And he decided he had two decisions at that point. He can either not have a daughter anymore or he can deal with it. And he chose to deal with it and love his daughter anyway and get past his own personal beliefs. And
talk about Cheney or McCain?
Commendable. Cheney.
Okay, yeah, you said McCain, Rich.
Did I? My bad.
I was like, wait, Meghan McCain's gay?
Oh, did it? I'm sorry, you said McCain, but I heard Cheney because I thought that I just assumed that's what we were talking about.
I was assuming it was Cheney. Yeah. Wait, I was like, wait, Meghan McCain?
So I thought I said Cheney. You thought you heard Cheney.
Wait, isn't Meghan McCain the lesbian?
I don't think so.
Oh, I had no idea.
I mean,
I don't know why I thought she was.
That would back up Chris Rock's theory that whatever you hate ends up in your family. So if you don't like Puerto Ricans, guess who your daughter's bringing home? Living La Vida Loca.
Yeah.
So you don't like gay people.
Still, I find Meghan McCain strangely attractive, even though she spouts utter nonsense.
I couldn't pick her out of a lineup of one.
She's a typical blonde-haired, blue-eyed Republican chick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, like a Fox News type.
Yeah.
talking head. Gotcha. Not really into blondes for the most part, so maybe that's why. I'm just like,
if she were up for a Fox News job, somebody would have to sit her down and talk to her about her weight. But yeah.
Oh, is everything
only because it's? I'm not saying she's fat. I'm saying that she's not skinny enough to be on an actual Fox News girl.
Well, you got to be damn near anorexic to be on Fox News and be a Fox News girl.
Yeah.
Essie Cup is too big now to be on Fox News.
Right.
You know.
Now there's one who is smart and beautiful.
You know, I'd throw that big.
I'd marry her.
I'd climb up that Amazon any day. Big old 6-foot chick. All right, come here. I'd Tyrion Lannister. How did it feel to climb for it for the first time? Felt great.
6 foot, take no shit.
But yeah.
So, who else on TV would we fuck? No. How about R. Kelly?
It'd be quicker to list who we wouldn't fuck, right? You got a married man and 2 single guys. Okay, so newly married. I'm sorry. The shine hasn't worn off yet. You just have eyes for your wife. I understand.
Yeah, we've been together 4 years.
So you've started to, in the back of your mind, like come up with the, if I was ever going to kill her, this is how I'd do it fantasy?
No, not yet.
Okay. See, when that starts happening, get back to me.
Man. Trying to get him on tape? What the fuck is this?
No, ask her what if I'm ever going to kill him, this is how I'm going to do it fantasy.
Arsenic.
See?
She's told me that
before you
finish
the sentence.
She told me that to my face. It involves me cheating on her.
Oh, don't worry. When I'm mad, you'll know. And when I take you out, it'll be to your face. I'm going to choke you out and watch the life drain.
Yeah, it's like Eddie Murphy said. You know you're in trouble when you fuck up and your girl doesn't even get mad. She goes, "No, it's okay. Why don't you just go to sleep?" You're like, oh shit, you get so scared you leave your own fucking house. You're at the Red Roof Inn.
Yeah, Bobbit was told to take a nap one time.
I bet you he sleeps on his stomach from now on. Rather you fuck me in the ass and take this thing again. Jesus.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about fucking, Aaron, you brought up R. Kelly.
Yeah, they finally,
Kelly.
Chicago charged him with, 11 counts of sex-related charges. All of them sex-related.
Slow down. It's only taken 30 years.
Criminal assault, criminal sexual assault by force, abuse, criminal sexual abuse against a victim between the ages of 13 and 16 amongst those charges.
See, that's the most damning thing in my book. Pedophiles seem to have a certain age range they gravitate towards. And that has been pretty much consistent in all the stories I've heard about R. Kelly since Aaliyah. Like, his wheelhouse is between, like you said, 13 and 16.
Yeah. He's like Jackson. You get to a certain age, you're fucking done.
Yeah, you age out. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know. After I lived through the OJ trial, so I can't put it past the jury to do any, to just acquit for any bullshit reason whatsoever. But I mean, at this point, if you're R. Kelly, isn't your best legal strategy to postpone, and drag this out as long as possible?
No, your best strategy is to get one black person on that jury. Isn't it? I heard something. Isn't they say where most cases, or Mark Garagos talks about cases are won and lost in jury selection.
Mm-hmm.
You get one black person on that jury, he gets off.
Well, that's what we learned from the OJ trial, is that the jury consultants are the real MVPs. They make
you get a 13 to 16-year-old black person on that jury, really gets off.
I just think
goes free.
But yeah, do you get a black person on the jury our age or older? It's fucking over. He'll walk. Be a hung jury.
I keep thinking back to the Boondocks episode Trial of Robert Kelly, and it's like,
what? Because he good.
Yeah. Why? Because I like him. And it, like, shit, I've been pissed down by motherfuckers who don't even have a record contract. Like, oh God, but seriously, all bullshit aside, I mean, still, I don't care if he thinks he can stack the jury in his favor or not. It's still out of his hands at that point. I'm imagining he's like, how much money do I have? How long can I drag this out until I'm actually sitting in a courtroom and testimonies going on the record. Because that's what he did before. I mean, if I remember correctly, that sex tape first surfaced in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he wasn't acquitted till 2008? I mean, that's an 8-year delay between it came out, he was charged, and when the trial was done.
According to Fox News, the first 8 counts were from alleged encounters between January 1st and January 31st, 2010, and the others were from 2009 to 2010.
So this is all post his other trial?
Yes.
Okay, because that was the other thing. I was like, how far back are they going? Because I know that some states have lifted the statute of limitations on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that because, man, you start getting 20, 30 years out, it becomes one person's word against another. And I mean, I know it's a subject that the minute you bring up anything to do with child molestation of any sort, it invokes such strong feelings and such a visceral response from people. But I mean, I guess the person who, the little bit of me that does still believe in the legal system is like, I need a little bit more proof than just someone going, it happened, and someone else going, no, it didn't. Is there physical proof? What do we have here? Show me something here. It's almost like convicting without a body. It's a very hard thing to do. So if they're going after him for more recent shit, then especially in the digital age, I mean, they serve the right search warrants. They grab the right computer. They grab the right device. They might find the smoking gun. I mean, because it seems like that's his thing. That's part of his thing. He gets off on the recording of it, not just, allegedly having sex with 13 to 16-year-olds. God damn.
Yeah.
Stop fucking children, people. Serious.
Yeah, we've talked about too much child fucking this year on this show. Way too much.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all these charges are from one victim. So I don't know.
I did not know that. Really, 11 charges are from just one person?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I think. Oh boy. I think if you have a multiple people coming forward and their stories match, then you have some corroboration. Like you said, Rich, I mean, if it's just his word versus this girl's word, and how many people were in the room when any of this shit happened? Probably none. It's going to be really tough to prove.
Yeah, and I mean, all you got to do is look at the cases of, we have one here in Michigan. 5 priests have been charged with child molestation, and the Catholic Church moved, I think, one priest out of state, moved the other 4 in state, but far away. And one of the parishes that it happened at was in Westland. They even changed the name of the church. And I'm like, is this like Enron changing to WorldCom?
What is it? Is it an Xfinity Church now?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, couldn't have been us. That's not our name. Isn't that crazy?
Welcome to We Definitely Don't Fuck Boys Lutheran Church.
Our Lady of We Don't Fuck Kids.
Yes.
There's no drop child panties in this place. Not whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just, God, it's such a distasteful fucking subject. And it's like, Jesus Christ. In today's day and age with the internet and the deep fake shit and I forget exactly what it's called, but basically the anime that has children having sex, there are still I can type in barely legal into Pornhub and probably get 100,000 hits in 1 second, half a second. You know what I'm saying? Stop fucking children, people. Seriously. You can even go out and find a chick who might look 16, but she's, 23, whatever. I mean, first of all, but if that's what you're into, do it. It's not illegal.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of Japanese hentai. I was trying to think of the term for the pornographic manga that involves fucking minors, that involves incest. I don't approve of it, certainly, but
that's what hentai is.
I mean, if you look at the numbers of how many kids are being molested in Japan versus in America. I mean, maybe there's something.
It was just anime porn. I didn't know it had that theme to it. Yikes!
No. I'm saying there's a lot of hentai that. Well, look, it's no different than American porn. Look at Pornhub. I guarantee you'll find at least 2 hits on the first page that involve fucking a relative. Now, not minors, but
challenge accepted.
But do we want to walk right up to that line? Absolutely, because there's, again, on your first page, there's probably going to be somebody that's listed as 18 years old, and in reality may even be younger, and is definitely trying to look younger. So I'm not saying that it exists in a tremendous degree more than it does in our culture. I'm just saying that they're more open about it. It's not as, I don't know, taboo's not the right word, but it's not looked at as if you're masturbating to porn about fucking your relatives, doesn't mean that you want to fuck your relatives. That's more accepted as a fantasy thing.
Well, I mean, definitely.
By the way, Rich, for the record, second video from the bottom, so it's almost not on the first page. POV blowjob from stepsister while parents in next room.
Yeah.
You spoke it into existence.
I'm telling you, I've been there. What do you mean?
Well, I was.
Aaron's like, I got that bookmarked.
I was over at a buddy's house in the last couple of weeks, and somehow the subject of the nation's, each state's most searched word for porn came up, and like stepsister, stepmom, babysitter, flat out incest was in it. Was a couple of them. Michigan's was pissing, and I was like, damn. Really? It's that.
Love our R. Kelly. What can we say?
I mean, I thought he was from Chicago, so I figured it'd be Illinois. But
hey, Detroit was one of the only shows that sold out on his last tour.
I'm sure if you look up freetop.com, there's maybe that site's based out of Detroit. I don't know.
But pissing was really never. I mean, I still find that weird because. It's not that I don't come across pissing videos. It's just they're not that common. I accept it as a kink, and I'm not judging anyone, but it doesn't seem like one of the more popular kinks. Not to the degree that it would be a top search result in any state, but hey.
Well, it was funny because
maybe it's because it's the Great Lakes state.
Here. let me throw this.
Let me throw this. You like our water sports? Hey-o.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we are surrounded by water, and water makes you think of pissing. So I don't know. Let me throw this batting practice softball straight down the middle and see if you guys can put it in the seats. Guess what part of the country searched for ebony the most?
Kentucky.
That's it. The South.
Yeah, buddy. That's a lot of repressed shit down there. Oh yeah. Was it BBW, Big Black Women, or Beautiful Black Women, and ebony and the South pretty much had a stranglehold on that end, and I was like, wow, the repression runs deep.
The forbidden fruit.
And I mean, it's like I've lived down south. I have to say, I've seen pretty much. Now, granted, I lived in more populated areas, more city areas. Because really, you go to the rural areas of the South, it's not very integrated. It's still pretty segregated. So, you got this part of town where the white folks go, oh, you don't want to go there. And it's like, why? Because, and it's like, because there's black people. I'm from Detroit. I'm not afraid of black people. So
I'm going to Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas this year. I only see black people in Kansas City. Just saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like every time I lived in the South, I've seen just as many interracial couples, and I mean, I don't know the personal stuff they go through as an interracial couple. I mean, I've had friends who are interracial couples up here who say, "Oh yeah, you still get looks every once in a while, strange stares, see people like give you the side eye and, you know, say something under their breath to the person they're with. And I'm like, so I imagine it's probably just as much, if not more, in the South. I mean, I know that I'm buying into a stereotype, but I mean, for every stereotype, there's a grain of truth to it. And I mean, you know, I can tell you this, the part of Tennessee that I was in, literally a guy had a, you know, no trespassing KKK sign at the end of his driveway, right out in the open, letting you know, stay off his property, especially if you're darker than a ginger with a sunburn. So, I mean, I'm sure they go through shit, but I just, when we say repressed, it must be really repressed, and it must be really taboo and forbidden in certain circles down south, to the point where it's like, that's the only way in the middle of the night with no lights on, people can get this, they can jerk the evil out by looking up this shit, I guess. I don't know. It's just strange to me.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium, or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs, and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
After a great start to the Euro 2020 qualifiers, the Republic of Ireland look to continue their 100% home record as they take on Switzerland on Thursday, September 5th at Aviva Stadium. Then on Tuesday, September 10th, we go again at Aviva for the 3 international friendly versus Bulgaria. Kick-off for both games 7:45. Show your support for the boys in green this September. Tickets on sale now starting at €20 from fai.ie/tickets. Booking fee applies.
Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? Well, Dublin, with Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
Speaking of the South, you know, we've heard about all the abortion bills that are being passed in the South, Georgia being amongst those. And I'm no fan necessarily of Bob Iger, but I do commend him on his comment. He's quoted as saying that it would be difficult for Disney to produce TV shows and films in Georgia, given its strict new abortion laws. This wasn't an official statement by the company Disney or anyone else in it. This seemed to be Bob Iger's personal opinion that he was giving. And
I'll play devil advocate here, though, to Bob Iger. Why can you no longer, because of the abortion law, why can you no longer continue to produce in Georgia?
Because
how is it hindering your production?
No, he's saying he doesn't personally support it.
And
so it'd be difficult to compromise the values of the people that work for the company in order to get a tax credit.
And
that's what he's saying. Not that it's going to hinder his production in any way.
There's a long list of actors, actresses, and people in the industry who said they will refuse to work in states with the more restrictive abortion laws.
So maybe he's missing out on talent that he wants to get by choosing to film in Georgia. And now your tax savings is it doesn't even matter anymore because you can't make the product that you want to make. But that wasn't a decision by Disney. This was a comment from Bob Iger, who is, granted, the CEO of Disney. But almost immediately following after that, Netflix, Warner Media, CBS, Showtime, NBC, AMC, Sony, Viacom, all of them are saying publicly that they are not going to be filming anything in Georgia anymore.
Ooh, they're all heroes. To me, that's just a statement. Yeah, they might go away for a few months, but it's all about money. All right, you think these production companies are going to start paying full freight No, they're going to just go to the next state that's giving them a whole bunch of tax breaks. You know, and in a year when everyone forgets about this shit, I bet you they'll be back in Georgia.
Now, it's about money, and in order to make money in Hollywood, you have to get top actors and top writers. If you can't get those top actors and writers, then you can't make the money. So yes, it is all about money, and all the tax breaks in the world aren't going to make up for the fact that you can't get Keanu Reeves in your movie.
Yeah, but that's a double-edged sword. Would you like to keep working?
No, it's not.
If you're an actor.
No, it's not. They'll go and work anywhere else. So some other studio will decide, okay, we're not going to film in Georgia, and we'll pick up all these actors that don't want to work in Georgia. There's no downside for the actors and writers.
How about the movie industries in these states that are being fucked over? All the people that live in Georgia that work in the movie industry there that are now going to be fucked over because these productions are leaving. Fuck them.
It's unfortunate, but what they're supposed to stay and do business in the state and again, try and do it without the talent that they want to get for it, just to keep the key grips in Georgia employed.
To me, it's just I'm not buying it. Whatever. Yeah, great.
What aren't you buying?
It's to me, it's empty. It's saying what you think you're supposed to say right now because it's a hot topic.
I think it's dealing in reality.
Yeah, but I mean, then you have someone like Netflix who says that they, their chief content officer, I can't remember his name, but he basically said that they would have to rethink its Georgia investments if the heartbeat bill was to go into effect. Mm-hmm. Yet they still film in Jordan and Egypt where abortion is illegal.
Yeah. Isn't this the same industry that knew about Harvey Weinstein and kept quiet about it for 20 years?
Well, listen, this is a statement from CBS and Showtime. Creative voices across our industry have expressed strong concern about the recently signed bill in Georgia. The ability to attract the best talent is the first step in producing great entertainment content and is always an important consideration in where we film any series. We are monitoring the legislative and legal developments in Georgia with the full expectation that the process in the courts will play out for some time. For now, we will continue producing our series based there and have production orders for next season. If the law takes effect in Georgia or elsewhere, these may not be viable locations for our future production.
Yeah.
These are very logical.
They left themselves an out.
Decisions.
They said may not.
They're not leaving themselves an out. There's no decision yet. They, like many others, are expecting these abortion bills to be tied up in the courts and eventually rejected. And so it will be a moot point.
Yeah, exactly. And even the quote I said from the Netflix executive, he said, if the heartbeat abortion bill takes effect, meaning it has to go into law and it has to go through the process that you're describing, Aaron. So, I mean, it all hinges on that. It's not, we're shutting down all production right now just because some people proposed a bill.
Yeah, we're not trying to punish the people of Georgia for voting in the wrong way or electing the wrong representatives or anything like that. It's a business decision. There's nothing really to look into.
And I mean, we've talked about this before when certain artists are like, I won't go, musicians or whatever will say, I won't tour in this state or I won't go to this state as long as I have this bill or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The entertainment industry is an industry that if you want to work in, the one friend I have more of an acquaintance I have from the musician days who is actually in the entertainment industry, legit, he is on the move around this country constantly. If he needs to go to, Philadelphia to film something, he's in Philadelphia. If he needs to go to Georgia, he's in Georgia. He's been in Canada. He had a recurring small part on the Detroiters show that was, I think it's been canceled. He would come back and film that. He'd be in town for a couple weeks. Boom, he's gone again. So, I mean, these are people who are like, you go where the work is. And I mean, I understand when people go, what about the local businesses that can't pick up and move? Yeah, that does suck for them because they're going to lose that business that the entertainment industry brings into their area.
But yeah, I mean, we saw that happen in Michigan. We thought that Georgia is attracting all this business. We should be getting some of that too. And I'm sure there were a lot of people that started ramping up, started looking for, buying property where they could open up production studios, all this shit, all this money that started being flooded into Detroit with the idea that we were going to attract this business, and then it got shut down by the Republicans and never went anywhere. So those guys were shit out of luck with their investments. I mean, it fucking happens.
And I mean, it goes back to like we've talked about before, and it sucks, but it's a fact. Life isn't fair. Shit does not work out all the time in your favor. And it sucks for people who are like, look, man, I'm against the bill, and I was hoping that, the entertainment industry would come to my state, but because now these politicians, okay, well then I guess you have two choices. Three, actually, I guess. I mean, maybe you guys can come up with more. Do nothing about it, deal with it, vote, or climb a clock tower. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So
I see your three options as like your main option is if you are heavily invested in this business, if this is what you want to do, then you will pick up and go to where the business is. And if you're highly valued, you'll be asked to go wherever you are. Hey, we have this team that we worked with in Georgia for years. We don't come there anymore because we can't get any actors in our cast if we film in Georgia. But, we can still use these guys. If they're valuable, they'll be asked to go wherever they need to go. I mean, the other option is to find other work, which if you were savvy enough to see the filming industry, the movie industry and TV industry as an opportunity, then you'll find wherever the next opportunity is. And if you only stumbled across this job because you were too lazy to find another one, and you just happen to know somebody who started working on films and, you had a pretty nice gig being a key grip for a while, and now you're shit out of luck, well, I don't know what to tell you because fucking lazy people exist all over the place. And they either will or won't find work, and you can't really hold everyone else responsible for keeping that person employed. So I have zero sympathy for the people who've invested in the film industry in Georgia. I mean, not zero. I have some sympathy. Look,
I'm not really talking about the people who invested in the film industry. I'm talking about perfect example. This last Sunday, they had a 2-hour documentary about the making of the entire last season of Game of Thrones, where they didn't really concentrate on the actors and the writers. They concentrated on all the behind the scenes people.
Right.
And they went so far as to concentrate on basically most of Game of Thrones takes place in Croatia and Northern Ireland, and they focus mainly on Northern Ireland. And I guess it's a food truck person. That's what we would call them here. And she had been there since, day one, back in 2010, late 2009, whenever they started filming. And everybody knew her. The whole crew knew her. She's been selling, food to the whole crew for a decade. And she said, yeah, it's gonna stink because this has been my bread and butter for a decade. And, not only that, but I've come to know and become friends with a lot of these people. But that's just the way things work. I was here before them. I will survive after them.
Oh, I'm sure she's savvy. She has a plan for what comes after. I mean, I think it does happen where somebody stumbles onto an opportunity and then they don't know what to do afterward. But that person, there wasn't much hope for them anyway. I mean, if you're basing your food truck business off of what the HBO execs are going to green light for another season, then you're a fucking moron.
Well, apparently she made this bomb-ass sandwich that was like biting into sex.
Right.
And like the whole crew is like, we can't live without it. So if she's smart, maybe she'll follow HBO to another production.
The fact that she was on this documentary, now everybody that wants to go and visit the locations where certain scenes happened in Game of Thrones, they're going to take tours over there, and she's going to be right there, and they can buy the whatever fucking sandwich that Jaime Lannister ate.
Well, too, and from what I understand, there's going to be 3 spinoffs, so she'll be all right.
Yeah, because they're going to have to stay in Northern Ireland for part of the prequel one because it does involve a lot of the same locations. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, who opens a business anticipating, I mean, granted, I don't know a lot about Northern Ireland. It's, financial situation or anything and food truck situation. But who opens a food truck business in Northern Ireland going, okay, now I just got to wait for HBO to film a show here and I'll be rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's your business plan, you started off on the wrong foot. I got to kind of side with you, Aaron. You kind of, you got your foot in your dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're fucking up. That's not a sound business strategy to start off with.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's such a fickle business, too. You don't know what show's going to keep coming back and get renewed.
No, I mean, you look at what's going on with HBO right now. Deadwood was on for 3 seasons. I know a ton of people that watch that show, a ton of people that love that show. They canceled that show out of the fucking blue. It took them a decade to make the fucking movie that they've made to wrap up that series. Same thing happened with Rome. I knew a lot of people who watched Rome on HBO.
Oh yeah.
And after 2 seasons, they said done. We're just done. End of story. And that's Hollywood. That happens all the time. It's just like radio. Chris, you come to work one day and we changed formats and we'll be changing in 2 days and you'll be out of a job in 2 days.
Yep.
Have fun. Happens all the time. And it sucks. But once again, and I know people don't want to hear it, but especially the people who want guaranteed equality of outcome is impossible. And this is what pisses those people off because they go, that's not fair. Life isn't fair, guys. It's just not. If it was, we'd all be born rich and beautiful and all that shit. And we're just not. It's not the way the world works.
Well, speaking of movies and whatnot, I hear that George Lucas is involved in episode 9.
The Rise of the Skywalker. I think that's the official title now. I've seen the trailer once and was like, didn't see anything that really grabbed my attention. So
this was news to me, Rich. You had mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, apparently J.J. Abrams gave an interview and confirmed it. There have been rumors, I guess, coming out of Disney that Lucas had something to do with it. And Abrams said, yes, Lucas is involved on a small level. They didn't go into details about necessarily what. My take on it.
Mostly eating all the falafel off the spread. What do they have? The spread that they have, the lunch table.
You know what it's going to be? The big twist is going to be halfway through the movie. Jar Jar Binks comes out and goes, "I fuck Shmi Skywalker. I'm Anakin's dad. I'm the original Skywalker."
Misa, your father.
Misa beat your mama's cheeks up. Yeah, just.
And then movie theaters across the country are burned down simultaneously.
Misa got all up in that.
Misa looked at your mama and said, "Let me find out." So yeah. No. But I looked at it like this. I have to go back a little bit. I think it was 2012 or 13 when he sold Lucasfilm, LucasArts, basically his entire empire, except for ILM, to Disney for $4 billion.
Yeah.
He said, he gave an interview on 60 Minutes and he said, basically I feel like I sold Star Wars to the white slavers. Now that's kind of like harsh language. So, I mean, it didn't seem like he was a big fan of. Well, this was also after he said, by the way, since you're buying Lucasfilm and you're buying Star Wars, here's my outline for the last trilogy. And they were like, they pulled the beginning of The Force or The Last Jedi. When Rey hands the lightsaber to Luke, they were like, "Thank you," and threw it over their shoulder and walked away. They were like, "No, we're not doing that." So maybe that was part of the reason that he said that. Maybe that relationship has been healed a little bit.
I mean, he didn't give the money back, so he's not that butthurt about it.
Exactly. And he's not coming back for a paycheck. It's not like he needs it. So I'm trying to think of a reason why he would come back, because all I can see is 10 miles of bad road in front of him. Because if the fans hate the movie, we already know. I mean, there's a fan-made documentary called George Lucas versus the fans. They're more than willing to jump on the fuck George Lucas bandwagon again. And if they love the movie, I mean, I don't know for a fact. I have a strong feeling that Kathleen Kennedy, Disney and J.J. Abrams will be taking victory laps and taking as much credit for it as possible while downplaying what Lucas did. So it's not, I don't really see why he would go back unless...
Yeah, the response is likely to be, hey, they made a decent movie despite George Lucas's involvement.
Yeah. So the only thing I can think is that they came to him and said, we're stuck, because they've admitted they did not do what the MCU did. They did not plot out how they wanted this trilogy to go. They basically were going to hire 3 separate directors, let them write it, and hand it off like a relay race.
They're like, I know, let's play telephone.
And Rian Johnson was like...
what comes out the other end.
Rian Johnson was like, hey, check this out. Rey's parents, doesn't matter. Snoke, dead. There's 13 people left in the rebellion. And, oh shit, Carrie Fisher fucking likes her Coke, and she was doing it past the expiration date.
You thought this was like improv, like they were on Whose Line Is It?
Exactly.
So they just try and, they pass a story off from one actor to the other, and they try and trip each other up.
So it's like, they call in Abrams to be like, all right, dude, you got to right the ship. You got one shot. Maybe Abrams reached out to Lucas and was like, look, I'm stuck. Can you help me? And... maybe Lucas come up, he just walked in and gave him that one idea that was like, you know what? This'll untie the knots. We're never going to make everyone happy, but this will make a lot of people happy because it'll bring it back home and it'll bring it full circle. I mean, with the name, The Rise of the Skywalker, that implies that they're finally embracing that this is a 9-movie series about the Skywalker family set in the Star Wars universe. Whereas after The Last Jedi, there was a lot of people in Disney saying, no, this isn't necessarily about the Skywalkers itself. They're a prominent family involved in this, but this new trilogy isn't like, first one was Anakin, second one was Luke. This one isn't really based around one single Skywalker. They're just a family who are very important in the Star Wars universe. So I don't know. If I'm George Lucas, though, I'm just sitting there going, I don't know what the fuck
they tried to have it both ways. I mean, I think they should have made a trilogy that was obviously influenced by the Skywalker family, because that's where all of the Star Wars lore comes from. But, moves the story forward and starts a new one. And I think they should have done that, and they didn't. But it seems like they kind of wanted to, but were never really had the balls to pull the trigger completely.
Well, and also, whether or not this was intended, they kind of retconned the whole midichlorian thing. Oh, the Force, anybody can have the Force. You don't have to be special to have the Force. And that was established in episode 1 of the new trilogy, that no, your midichlorian count is what decides how strong in the Force you are. And they kind of just threw that out the window. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. To be honest with you, I've kind of Rogue One, I loved, and like The Force Awakens, I was like, okay, it was a good popcorn flick. And I've just been like, meh at the rest of the movies, and I'm just going, I don't sit around going, how are they going to fix this? Especially after The Force Awakens, because there was so many people and so many theories flying around about this character and this character on the internet that none of them were came to pass, that it was just like, I give up even trying to guess where they're going. Just fucking go with it, I guess. And some people love that, some don't.
I heard there's going to be an episode in part 9 where there's a midichlorian conspiracy theory being floated around Spacebook. Midichlorians cause autism.
Yeah, vaccinations cause Jediism. There you go. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you still believe in that midichlorian nonsense? That stuff was debunked centuries ago.
Well, I mean, and it is kind of interesting that I will say
also,
this.
if there was a Star Wars social media feed, it would be called Spacebook.
Oh, that was like 5-6 years ago. There was if the Star Wars universe was on Facebook. Did you ever see those memes?
Oh no!
And they were like Luke and Han. Like Luke's like, got a date with a hot princess tonight, and all of a sudden Obi-Wan's like, Luke, don't do it. Message me right now. And he's like, oh, too late, man. I already closed the deal. And then Han's just like, It was fucking great. But I mean, I do think it's interesting. I think that J.J. Abrams tends to, definitely more than Rian Johnson. I think J.J. Abrams will, especially with bringing Billy D. Williams back. It's kind of like, hey guys, remember Lando? Hey. And then, they've all but confirmed that Mark Hamill's going to be in it in some, obviously as a Force spirit.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much can't. Wait. How are they going to open episode 9 with him alive? He wakes up and it was a dream. What is this, Dallas? You know what I'm saying? Like he wakes up. Yeah, he wakes up and Ray wakes up and he's in the shower and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? Ready to start your training?" Go get me some blue milk. But
he wakes up and he's a surgeon at St. Elsewhere.
and it was all in Jar Jar's imagination.
Yes,
snow globe. No, not a snow globe, a desert globe. Oh Christ! If you get all these references, by the way, you're either old,
you're old and a nerd.
Yes. Oh Christ! Yeah, and then I got to admit, I am kind of, I'm interested in where they go after this because there's going to be a 3-year gap, I guess, that's going to be filled by the 2 television series that are coming out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, which I think is a good decision. Let's start spacing it out. Stop trying to rush out a Star Wars movie every year.
Well, yeah, because even in the video game industry, there are games that come out annually, and usually they suffer because they have to come out at this time of year. Like Call of Duty has to come out in November every year, has to. And
I think myself and many other fans we're willing to be more forgiving of the Star Wars TV shows and want them to explore new things, but save the movies. Like when you've got, the next big Star Wars story to tell, save that for the movie. Let's explore the rest of it through the TV shows. I think it's a better venue for it.
Even though I will say,
for expanding the universe. And
I will say this though, stop with the fucking prequel shit. And it's not just Star Wars. It's all fantasy and shit.
Oh.
Did you see the new Batman
know that they're
prequel?
doing Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, but okay,
movie?
now Knights of the Old Republic is interesting because that is so far in the past, and the source material is completely different than the Star Wars we know. It can be its own thing.
Right. So you're saying stop giving us the backstories of characters that we already know.
Yeah, or if we do it in an interesting way. If you have a TV show that's set like between episode 3 and episode 4, maybe have, someone run into Han and Chewie, and there's like maybe a 2 or 3 episode arc where, they're in it, and, they can take their time and explain, fill in the backstory a lot better than, what's your last name? I don't have one. Well, you're alone, so I'm going to call you Solo. Like, oh, yeah, really? That's how he got his name? Really? Okay. All right. But no, I heard about the new Batman prequel, the Batman Universe prequel, Pennyworth.
Yeah.
It's a fucking prequel based on Alfred's family. I'm like, stop. Come on.
Oh, I think it looks good.
How does that look good? I don't want to watch Alfred's dried up grandma running around with a little kid Alfred.
Yeah, do we need an origin story for Alfred?
He's, I think we do. I think he's a really interesting and underused character, and certainly in the movies, there's been quite a bit explored about Alfred's past, and I think it is interesting.
Man,
I don't know. I'm all for it.
I just picture any prequel involving Alfred's family being basically Downton Abbey.
Right?
Just a bunch of stuffy Brits, and so maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't know. And then Gotham. I tried to get into Gotham. I couldn't.
I think Alfred's a better concept for a show, or Pennyworth, I should say, is a better concept for a show than Gotham is, because Gotham I had no interest in. Well, I checked it out because I'm going to check out anything involving Batman in any way, let's face it. But it did not hold my interest in any way, because I'm like, and then he becomes Batman.
Yeah.
And then he's Batman. And then, and this is the part where he becomes Batman, right? Like,
well, what was the Smallville? Like,
yeah.
I was like, first of all, the Richard Donner movies covered Superman's childhood more than enough for me. I don't need to see a teenage Superman run around a cornfield figuring out his superpowers for 10 fucking seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm good on that. And to me, it was just unnecessary. It was like Lois and Clark. Like, okay, I get it, but really, do I need to see Dean Cain running around? You know.
Well, that's the problem. Like, if that's your concept, if that's your big concept, then you don't have anything. Like you were saying with the Star Wars stuff, don't dredge out the past unless you feel like you've got a story there, and that applies for anything. I mean, I don't think the issue is so much that they're. It's not so much that they have to show the origin story for everyone. It's that they feel like that needs to happen, regardless of whether they think there's a good story to be told there.
Well, yeah, and that's why.
And I think we just differ on. And when it comes to Pennyworth, I think there is a good story there, and you feel like there is. I mean, that's fair.
I mean, I'll give it a whirl, and if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not. I'm not so hard-headed. I'm like, I don't care if it's the best thing since blowjobs were invented. I hate this show, you know. And it's not like that whatsoever. But I mean, when it comes to like Knights of the Old Republic, the reason I said that's interesting is because that is like.
It's like a whole nother world.
It's 3,000 or 5,000 years before the Star Wars we know. There are first of all, there are armies of Sith and Jedi fighting in that, because that's before the Rule of Two, where there can only be the Sith Master and the Apprentice. I mean, there is room to have massive Jedi Sith battles in those movies. And the one thing I'll take away from the prequels that I'll defend is, growing up, watching the original trilogy, I never wanted to be Luke Skywalker. When we played Star Wars with my friends, I always wanted to be Han Solo. Never want, or if I'm the bad guy, I want to be either Boba Fett or Darth Vader. Never wanted to be Luke Skywalker. Then the prequels come out, and they made being a Jedi look cool, even though Anakin Skywalker delivered some of those lines so woodenly. It was like, oh God, Jesus. You know, I hate sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere. Don't you, Padme? Like, oh, Jesus, right. Like, that's your best line for Natalie Portman? I could pitch woo better than that, dude. Seriously, you know? But, you know, this is, if done right, and I will say, I will defend the writers of Game of Thrones who have been handed the reins to this. As long as they light the set properly, these massive battles could be very cool on screen between armies of Sith and armies of Jedi. So I am holding out hope. What is it?
Well, they carry their own light source with them, so it won't be an issue.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because in Attack of the Clones, when Count Dooku went at it with Obi-Wan and Anakin, it was dark, but it looked cool when they were waving the lightsabers around, so that kind of worked. But no, I mean, I'm holding out sausage party hope. You know what I'm saying? As Todd would say. You know, for this set of this trilogy. I don't even know if it's going to be a trilogy, to be honest with you. I think they said they're aiming for 3 movies, but they'll see, which tells me that they're like.
I like hearing that, actually, because a trilogy needs to be earned. And the trilogy is earned on the merits of each movie. And there's too much attitude now of like, it's got to be a trilogy. And, well, even if 2 sucked, well, 3's going to make up for it.
Yeah. And how many times have we seen movies that were like so sure they were going to be hits? They left room for a sequel and then they just flopped. Masters of the Universe, I'm looking at you. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, the Krull movie, wasn't that supposed to be like a kickoff of a new series, and that just went down the toilet in the early 80s? I mean,
yeah, but that's fair. I mean, if Krull was a more successful movie, then it would have got its sequel.
Yeah, I'm bummed we never got History of the World Part 2. I really wanted to see Jews in space.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like that was, I'm like, I know he did that as a joke, but it's like, no, that would have been a good fucking sequel to make. God damn it, like more so than Spaceballs, the sequel, on top of that, who the fuck's going to replace John Candy? You got to have Barf in there. So, but whatever. That's real nerds.
Wait, there's rumors of a Spaceballs sequel?
They've been floating around for a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, okay, everybody that was, okay, first of all, I didn't even know Mel Brooks was still alive.
I was just about to say, like, he's still with us?
I mean, he's
old when I was a kid.
He's got to be like a George Burns old now, like, holy shit. They prop him up every once in a while for interviews. And then John Candy's gone, and oh shit,
Rick Moranis retired from acting.
The God damn it, the chick who played the droid in the movie, and
Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers, thank you. She's gone. So who you can put in there? Kathy Griffin. Come on now. So I hope it just stays a rumor. You want to do a sequel to it? Make a comic book. Do it that way.
I was picturing C-3PO holding up a bloody Darth Vader helmet. It was a Kathy Griffin reference.
Holding up dark helmets. Helmet. Oh, shit. So, all right. Anything else, guys?
I think we hit
covers it.
We hit all the bullet points of the week. So this is the part where I remind everybody, check us out on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. We're on Facebook, all that fun stuff. You can email us unregimented@christophermedia.net. And check out the Do Baseball Toddcast. It's a new show here on the network. Remember when Todd was on the show for a while last year? He's got a podcast called Escaping the Cave. Well, he decided to lighten up a little bit and do a baseball podcast. And good God, man, if you're into baseball, Jesus Christ, listen to this podcast. He's passionate about it. You tell he enjoys talking about it. Check it out if you're into baseball. The Do Baseball Toddcast. It's on ChristopherMedia.net. It's on Podbean, iTunes, all that fun place. Same place as we are. Make sure to check out Spreaker.com. They're helping us grow our audience because they like what we're doing. So, yeah, go there. And always remember, if you like it, tell somebody. Tell a friend. Share it. You can share everything from your phone now. So if you like us, tell somebody about it. That's how podcasts work. All that being said, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Later.
unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
Sometimes you've just got to get some quality me time. Like right now, when you get away for a few hours to Kildare Village, because we've got hundreds of new arrivals, including new boutiques like Sandro and Maj. Escape to Kildare Village and get front row ready for a new season with a new look and a new smile on your face. A little me time goes a long way at Kildare Village, where there's something extraordinary every day.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening. Who's able to hear more than what's being said and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey, Cousin Sal here, bringing you an exclusive FanDuel Sportsbook offer for the big game. All new users are getting an exclusive 55-1 odds boost on either team to win the big game. Max bet $5. That means you could turn a $5 bet into $275 if your pick wins. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/Sal.
21 plus and present in New Jersey. New users only. Must wager on designated boost market. $10 first deposit required. Max bonus $275. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.